Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome. This is People to People with Rodney Grimes. Here I am again. I always take this opportunity to first give honor to God. This is another day that I can just put some positive energy out there. I'm hoping that you had a blessed day. For everybody just tuning in, please hit like and share. Let them know that you care. I'm trying to tell you, we got to do that. That's what People to People is all about. I'm not even going to make this a long drawn out thing because I got a gentleman that was in here before that I deprived him of the opportunity to share all this information that he has, and I am just so excited that I have my friend that I am proud to say, Mr. Hafez. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Rodney. Good to be here again. I appreciate it.
I am so glad that you are here. The last time we had another guest on with you, and it went very well.
Did.
But, it was a lot of things that you and I had to talk about and some things that you wanted to talk about. But again, for everybody just joining in, Mo is a wellness coach.
Yes. Onto people to help them, because that's the whole point of this endeavor, is to help people. So for now, I am the primary wellness coach at Green Fez, but the point is to take all this knowledge and put it in a way that allows people to help themselves. So I want people to be able to, have this knowledge. I'm happy to share it. The wellness coaching part of it that I do is simply to try to hold people who want to make a change in their life responsible for the things that they need to do to change their life. So I love sharing this information, and none of the information that I share is a secret. In fact, I'm trying to spread that message, and because I know it can help people. It helped me, and it's helped several of my friends, and as such, I realize that this is something that people need nowadays, especially people who are struggling to make meaningful changes in their life and are unhappy. So these things are, I'm happy to talk about them, and I want to distill them and allow people to have those resources, and it becomes part of your identity. It becomes part of your routine. That's it. That's all you need. So that's the coaching aspect of it. It's getting people to achieve that sort of higher state of mental being. And what Green Fez is all about is helping people achieve a mental wellness, mental balance, be able to, in so doing, get to a place where they are present, and so they can make sense of their life and their goals and their dreams, and be able to actually go about them. So, in summary, that's basically what the coaching aspect of Green Fez is about.
That is so powerful. Now, for everybody that's tuning in, I want you to take this opportunity, because this is something that is given to you free. I mean, it's given to you that this is opportunity for you to change some bad habits, to understand how to start to be happy and things of that nature. And I say that because just in the short period that I've had the opportunity to speak with you, just a few things that you shared with me, I took them to heart and I've been using them. I have also a life coach that I'm. So with you doing this, is this something that you practice first on yourself and then you share with others, or do you do this through the process of some of the clients and the people that you work with?
I'm glad you asked. This is something that was born from my own experience. And, they tell you that necessity is the mother of invention. So if it weren't for the fact that I personally was struggling, I'm a very positively minded person. But pandemic affected us all in a particular way, which is it forced us all to confront the things in our lives that weren't working for us. And for me, I certainly realized that who I was up here, or who I thought of myself up here, was not what I was being. I wasn't acting the way I thought of myself. So there was a dissonance, or there was a disconnect between what I thought of myself, or where I was in my life, and got me to sort of go on a path of this sort of self-enlightenment or self-discovery to help me sort of to achieve that mental balance. So it worked. It worked on me. Within 2-3 months, everything that I wanted to do with my life started happening. I wanted to get in better shape. That happened. And it sounds like miracle cure type stuff, but losing 50 pounds in 4 months is pretty significant. Well, that came about from mental discipline. My ability to handle the day-to-day stresses and the day-to-day demands on me, on my time and my attention, I became better equipped to manage them. These are all things that came about because I got my mind straight, and it really made a difference in my quality of life. It made a difference in my happiness. That right there is enough to propel you in that direction that you want to take your life. So these are things that worked for me, and then I started. When my friends asked, I started helping them by telling them about it, and started working for them. And I said, well, wait a minute. This is a way that I can help people.
Yes.
And the whole point of turning it into a business is simply to make it sustainable, right? That's all it is. I want to give it away. And in many ways, coming on a show like yours here and talking is my way of giving it away. I want people to learn these skills and do them, because think of a world where all of us are mentally free and creative and able to think of our own ideas and contribute to society in our own particular ways. That's amazing. That's one of the reasons I love you, Rodney. You are contributing to society in a meaningful way. You're helping people. Of this endeavor came from is my desire to help people achieve these results.
And that was one of the things that excited me when I first met you, that you came right off with that energy. It was like, now, everybody know I keep it real, so I don't fabricate stuff. I just got to talk the way it is. When we was at the networking party, right?
That's right.
Okay. The energy that I received from several other people was just a little bit of under the table, okay?
Promotion. It was promotion. It was
right.
Hey, buy my stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But when I met you, you came. It was just your energy. It was open. It was fresh, and it was genuine. And I felt your spirit of giving, and I felt the spirit of, man, this guy is on to something. And I couldn't figure it quite out of it in the fact that when I shook your hand and you shook my hand with that passion as well, I said, I want to get to know this guy. We just sat there and exchanged a few words, and just a few words that you said to me. But no, I just thank you for allowing people to be able to have this opportunity to meet you and to get some more information that may change them or change some of the ways they're doing bad habits. You talked about bad habits. Can
Yes.
you talk about that a little bit?
Excellent. That's where I was hoping we would go, because it really does boil down to habits. And one of the major recommendations that I make to people, and if you're somebody who likes to read, one of the most amazing books is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It was one of those ones that I want to say was part of what the philosophy that changed my life, or the idea that changed my life, which is the ability to change your habits is much more achievable than one can imagine. You talk. What they're really trying to do is they're going against the grain.
Okay.
And so changing bad habits, and this is one of the central concepts of the book Atomic Habits, starts not by changing your actions, rather by changing your identity. So if you think of with me this diagram, which is 3 concentric circles, kind of like the Target design. And at the first big circle is actions. Those are your actions. The second circle, the second smaller circle, are the stories that make us who we are. And then the smallest circle is your identity, who you really think of yourself, that ego. Who are you? Well, what most people try to do when they want to change who they are, right? They want to be healthier, they want to look slimmer, they want to be more successful, they want to have a better. That's hard for a lot of people because it does take a lot of mental effort to sustain it and do it. That's the building good habits. So how do we do it, right? What's the practical answer? Well, instead of trying to change your actions, to change your stories, to change your identity, you start the other way around. You start by changing your identity. I tell people that in order to truly affect change in your life, you need to start thinking differently about yourself. You need to think of yourself in a different way. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and imagine yourself as the person you're trying to be, and that'll change your stories, and ultimately that'll change your actions. And I kind of compiled a lot of different knowledge from a lot of different places. So another speaker that I love, his name is Dandapani. He used to be a Buddhist monk. And this man, he has some phenomenal ideas that I took it and combined it with sort of the way they talk, the way they look, the way...
Right.
Well, they all acted that part. So they slipped into the role and they became James Bond. I'm telling people that if you want to be a certain thing in life, whether that's CEO of a Fortune 500 company or an amazing husband or an amazing father or an athlete, or if you just want to be healthy and what have you, whatever image you have of that person, that needs to be who you think of yourself. Act the part. Act the part.
Right.
Wake up in the morning and think about what that person would do. So instead of saying I'm trying to be a healthier person, no, you just be a healthier person. What would a healthy person do? What choices would they make?
Exactly.
You change the identity, that changes your stories, and then that changes your actions. And before you know it, you're doing what you need to do. Just
is going to be beneficial to many, many people. It's going to help you become a better person. He's talking about habits right now. We're talking about changing things that just, and the reason why I'm so excited is because, see, I'm not asking you to come on just for the purpose of marketing or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm asking you because you're helping me. And that's what, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Some of the things that you've already shared with me, I'm already in the process of doing. I'm living the part. I am going to be, and I am a successful man.
yes, right.
Okay?
Yes.
So what I'm doing is, as you was talking just a little earlier, you talked about the drip. Right, you said
That's right. Like water on I was talking about when you are doing something daily, you're going to run into challenges. It's not always going to work. Habit, now it creates consistency. That's it. And so, like water, drip, 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 drip. You're always going to get better. Right. And it might not work today. It might not work tomorrow. It might not work after tomorrow. But you know what? After 5, 6, 7, 8 days, it's going to work. Right? And that takes consistency, it takes frequency, it also takes what? It takes focus. Yes. And that is something that I think also is a major problem for us today. Today's system, and it's not our fault, it's not people's fault. Anybody who's listening right now who's going, well, this is hard, right? It's not your fault. We live in a world where we're distracted. We have all these phones and apps and emails, and they're useful. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, kill technology. But they have anything that we've done as humans in the past that has been great, our achievements. You look through history, and anything that was worthwhile, for example, like the famous one, I'm a huge fan of Thomas Edison. Everybody knows the story of Thomas Edison, right? He failed 99 times or 100 times or however much it is. He didn't fail 99 times. He found 100 ways that it didn't work. Right? But the thing is, consistency, frequency. He just kept going until eventually it worked. Somebody could have been like, man, give up. After 70 times, just be like, this thing doesn't work. Right. But with what we learn from that story is that consistency and frequency and focus drives results. And that's major. Focus is huge. And how often, Rodney, think about it, how often do we spend time throughout the day learning or practicing the art of focus?
And for you to say that, because right?
Yeah.
What would be the first thing that you would tell them to focus on?
Low self-esteem, it's hard to kind of diagnose. Now, by the way, I should say that at GreenFez and as a wellness coach, I am not a licensed therapist. And I believe that folks, there should not be a stigma with going to therapy to understand yourself. But and I mention that, I caveat that before I answer this, because this low self-esteem can come from a number of different things. Some of them, could be childhood trauma, could be psychological, could be anything, and to say that, all you need to do is achieve mental balance in the morning and you should be fine. No, certain things are going to take, just like if you have an illness, you need to go to the doctor, right? Things like that, I would encourage somebody to consider talking to a therapist to figure out what might be. Now, that aside, it depresses us because all we're doing is we're watching other people live their lives instead of living our own. And so I tell people that may be suffering from that, besides talking to a therapist or anything like that, say, okay, spend less time consuming media and more time just thinking. And there are a few different strategies to do that. People say meditation, and I was the worst when people say meditation. I'm like, I don't know how to meditate. I sit there and I think about all, clear your mind, all this stuff. It was just beyond my capacity of what does that mean? How do I do it? Meditation is nothing more than you simply sitting there and thinking and not having something to distract you like your phone or whatever. I spend time outside just looking at a tree and watching the birds that fly in and out of that tree. Right. High functioning, but not as high functioning as I could be. But there were some problems in my life, and what I started to realize is that when I started to spend time thinking and focusing and just generating my own ideas, I started feeling a lot better. I started feeling, oh, wow, I didn't think about that. And then you start connecting the dots with certain things that may not have made sense to you before in your life start to make sense. Tell me that that's not going to help you feel better, feel like you're in control of your life, right? To summarize, self-esteem can be a number of different things, but I believe that in many cases it's often us feeling ineffectual in life, like we don't matter, and we do matter. And our ability to help people and act in a way that fulfills us in life, that is incredibly powerful stuff that gives our life meaning and raises our self-esteem immensely.
So again, things that you have already dealt with and you've seen for your own self. In the short period that I've known you, I can tell you this, that I believe you are definitely on to something as well as you say I am. But you are on to something because just the little conversations and things that you have talked to me about that I've done, they work. I'm working on breaking bad habits, like here both of us drinking tea and we don't have nothing in it.
That's
now,
right.
Before, I used to put sugar in my tea, okay? But the more and more I'm around different people who don't do it, I'm starting to break that habit. Yeah. And more so now when my wife said, well, what do you want? I don't want anything in it. Yeah. Because, see, I'm breaking the habit. Yeah. But what I want people to understand is this. It's not just the tea and the sugar. It's about bad habits that you have within yourself. Right. And you have to be able to... Me again, I am so pleased to have you as a guest. I want to make sure I constantly bring you back because I know that you got a lot of information to share with us. But so when you are actually dealing with day-to-day drama with yourself,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
So what do you do then? Do you just back out and you say, okay, I got to restart this whole thing? Or do you start to treat yourself as if you were talking to another person?
That's a good question. I actually did... recently, I was asked to talk with somebody, a nutritionist, basically on her show or whatever, about burnout and things like that. And I think that's what your question's related to, is when I start to feel overwhelmed or when I'm getting things at me. And there are certain days, Rodney, where what we often do is when we wake up in the morning, most people, the first thing that they do is check their phone, check their email, check their messages, whatever. And what they're really doing is they're getting all of the stimuli. They're responding to other people. They're doing other people's bidding. They're basically answering other people. And so you're literally from the very beginning, when you wake up in the morning till probably when you go to sleep, you're working for other people. You're not doing you. You're not thinking about yourself. If you, instead of doing that, start your day off by thinking about yourself, prioritizing your health and your mental wellness, and taking time to think, plan out your day. Think about the things that are coming that day. How much better will you feel prepared for the things that are coming that day if to those times I reach out to people who love me, to people who support me, people like my wife, people like my friends, my family. And I let them know that, I want to talk to them because I know that they feed me that positive energy through love, through the encouragement. And so I refill my bucket that way by connecting with the people I care about. Because in the end, that's what it's all about. Everything we're doing is about people. Yeah. That's why I love your show.
People to people.
Everything what we're doing is about people, right? Yeah. Life is if you can have all the money in the world, and if you're alone, you'll be miserable. It means nothing. So, and that's why, sometimes people forget that everything we're doing when we go to work and we make all this money, we strive, it's so that we can take care of our loved ones and grow with them. And so people ultimately are me get right back up.
That's what so yesterday we had the little networking event and so forth and so on. And some things that went through my mind. And as I'm changing and losing the bad habits and gaining the new ones, some of the things that I realized was helping me is that focus. I am now also, I look at what's around me. Now, if it's negative energy, I remove myself.
Okay.
I'm not going to entertain negative energy anymore.
Yeah.
My thing is, if it's not a person that call in and say, "How you doing today, Rodney? God bless you. I hope you will." Okay, then if they call in and want to tell me or talk about somebody or they want to bring some negative energy, I can't do that.
No.
I remove myself, and I realize that it's inspiring.
And going back to the topic of energy, I'm glad you brought it up, because I want everybody who's listening to know that you're in control of what you spend your energy on. Okay. We don't think about it that way, but really, when you wake up in the morning, every action that you do, you're spending energy, right? Your energy. You wake up with a finite amount of energy that you can spend in that day, right? That's why at the end of the day, you've done a lot of stuff. You're going to be exhausted, right? You spent your energy. Well, energy is like water, right? When whatever you water, that's going to grow. So if you have a bed of flowers and you water it, what's going to grow, the flowers or the weeds?
If you had a bed of flowers.
And weeds. And you put water on them, what's going to grow?
Both of them.
Both of them. Because water, like energy, or any kind of drama with somebody, relationship drama, and you choose to engage in it in a negative way. I'm not saying just cut people off, but you choose to engage in certain things in a negative way, they're only going to yield negative results. But instead, if you take, the first thing you do is you take all your energy, stop spending it. Think about where you're spending it, and say, okay, instead of spending my energy on this, why don't I spend it on that? I'll give you an example. I love, since I was a kid, I love playing video games, right? And there are some games that to this day adults love to play. And one of them for me was taking up a lot of time. And I said, this thing's enjoyable, but it's not that enjoyable. And I feel like the energy I'm putting into it is taking. So I really appreciate that you talked about energy, because, if you look at your day-to-day life, you will be able to realize which things you're doing are feeding you in a positive way and which are feeding you in a negative way. And as much as you can, try to spend less energy, as little as possible, on negative and more on the positive, because that is what's going to enrich you.
Yes. And that's what a lot of people got to realize. Me, I've been just looking around and I'm trying to see where is this platform going. And at one time, sort of just talking about the energy, I was saying like, yo man, it seems like it's not doing what I wanted to do. And I started looking for all the negative aspects of it, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, yo man, I don't have all the people watching. Who do I answer to? To me and God. I answer to God first, and then to myself. So when I start to think about that, then it removes that negative.
That's right.
And now I am that person. I am starting to become that person. But there's many people out there that are struggling like that too. I'm telling you, when you listen to the program, and we have individuals like Hafez on here, I keep wanting to go. I know your name is Muhammad, right?
It's most short for Muhammad, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So and much respect to the name and everything. So I like to try to identify people on all levels. And I know, man, that everything that you bring to the table is something that's a lot of people out there they feel comfortable. So I feel comfortable with you, and I want them to know you can call in to start the business. But when you open the door, what is that you really need? You need the customers.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's where we are. Now, I got everything, and I'm working on that. So the only thing now I'm working on is for us to bring that positive energy to different people and give it to them and have people to take it. Because a lot of us are living in these areas where we got bad habits, and we're afraid to face them. We're thinking to call somebody and say, yo, hey, I'll call you on the phone and say, Mo, you busy today, man, I need to talk. No, that's good, you know?
Yeah.
And especially when you got somebody who has something good to give back to you, you know? So.
And that's confronting your issue head on. That's the other thing too, is, you know, when you've got something, an issue, and something you know is just not, you already took a step forward towards changing it. But if you never do that, you never confront it, it's not going to go away by itself.
And that's what we have to do. We have to confront those things. So some people call them demons. Some people you can call it whatever you want, but it's things that you know that you need to change. You need to confront it and be a man or woman about it, and know that if you want to stop living in misery and stop living unhappy, and you want to stop doing drugs, you want to stop being in an abusive relationship, you have to get where you start to focus on the positive energy, and start to also surround yourself around those people that care about you moving forward. And
that can be hard to do on your own. That can be hard to do on your own. I recognize that. Some people are lucky in that they're surrounded by people who can help them stay accountable for, help you get over that, help you not use that as an excuse to stop doing the wonderful habits that you just need to keep up until they just become your new habits. Getting somebody to hold you accountable, right? That's important. And you hear it all the time. People say, "Well, I want to go to the gym." Find a gym buddy. Because if you find a gym buddy, when 6 p.m. comes around and you know it's time for you to do some bench presses, instead of being like, I'll do it tomorrow, your buddy's going to be there. He's waiting for you, or she's waiting for you.
Yeah.
So you go. They're holding you accountable. Yeah. Well, that's the same thing, and I would advise everybody out there who's listening, who recognizes that they need to make a change, whether it's a wellness coach or a trusted friend or what have you, find somebody that can help hold you accountable if you realize that you're going to have a hard time doing that for yourself.
That's what. Instead of, she say, don't worry about if anybody looking.
Yeah.
What you're doing is working on yourself.
That's right.
And that's what we have to do, people to people. I'm trying to tell you, it is so important, and it's imperative that we take opportunities when we have a gentleman like yourself that come on and talk to us about these things and be able to take them and make them work. One of the things that I do. So you were saying something. I remember we was talking about. You said when you sat on your back porch, you would just listen to the sounds and just sit out there.
Yeah.
And then actually, you did this with your child.
Yeah, that's right. From the last episode, right. That's right.
And you really it kind of just opened up so much even in your thinking from doing that. I sit out on the porch. Now, we have some habits. I smoke cigars. Okay. So that's part of my relaxation. I sit on the porch, comfort place, where I take that time, that me time, to connect with all the good energy around me.
Yeah.
And then when I get through with the cigar, I be like, yeah, man, it almost felt like I had a little party with myself.
Yeah.
And it came out real good. Our
ability to change our own state of mind is something that I think surprises even me sometimes, in that you are in charge of how you think about things, right? There's a famous quote by Shakespeare which says, "There's no good or bad, only thinking makes it so." So you can take a bad thing, and it's not bad if you think of it as a good, and you could take a good thing and it's not good if you think of it as a bad, right? So our thinking about things is how we react and how we think about the things that happen in our life. And so what I would advise anybody who's listening is to basically, that's kind of the idea of the power of positive thinking, right? Positive mindset. Try to have that. And what's one of the best ways to do that, Rodney? You were mentioning sitting outside with your cigar. Do something that you love. And especially if it's something you love that requires any kind of level of focus. I was never one that was, unfortunately, I missed out, and maybe it's not too late, but I've never learned an instrument. But I admire people who play an instrument.
Yes, me too.
I love them, and I watch them play, whether it's piano or a violin or a flute or whatever, and especially if they really really enjoy it and they focus on it, you and it's a beautiful thing, and it feeds us with energy that is indescribable, and I don't think most people don't spend enough time doing something they really love. It doesn't have to be a lot of time, but take some time out of your day to really focus and concentrate on something that truly gives you joy. And that could be something as simple as sitting outside and watching the birds, or smoking a cigar and thinking about life and philosophizing, right?
Yes.
So, that's wonderful. That is, and it's different for different people, whatever it is. But do that. Definitely do that.
That's what I do when I come here. I be right here. This is one of my ultimate highs. This is what I get a kick out of, conversing with a person who's sharing information that can help me and help others. That's what I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'm a professional photographer, right?
Yeah.
I can shoot pictures and go make money. I can write, I can draw, and the bad power. But it's still power, however you look at it.
Yep.
And it's what you do with it.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you start to develop the power with the right thinking, focusing, and dealing with the right people,
Yeah.
you become a positive thinking person. And that right there starts to change your life and change the way you go about things. And so with many people out there, if you're struggling in a bad relationship, you're struggling with a drug addiction, you're struggling with just self-esteem or whatever, what Mo was talking about, you break the bad habits. It's up to you to take that negative energy and turn it to a positive, because you can do that.
That's right. And speaking of bad habits, I got one more tip I want to tell people about, which is that you don't have to start changing every bad habit that you have. That's too much. Start with something simple. Start with one bad habit, another habit on top of it. So by building one, so for example, you mentioned that you don't have sugar, right?
Right.
Well, you cut out sugar. Okay, so you cut out sugar, what happens? Well, maybe you find that all of a sudden your energy isn't spiking up and down. So you don't have these times where you feel really, really energetic, and other times you don't feel energetic at all. So now your energy is sustained throughout the day. Well, that means that you can go for a walk at any time of the day. If you find some time in the middle of your day, 10, 15 minutes between your work or whatever, go out for a walk. You're not going to feel sluggish. You're going to do it. So that becomes a new habit. So maybe you stack that habit on top of your no sugar habit. Now you're going for walks and you're not having sugar. And then on your walks, you start to develop a habit of just thinking about your business or whatever.
Right.
Like, that's called habit stacking. So you take the one habit, you just work on that one good habit, and then from there it'll open up the opportunity more. Then you just do that. And don't worry about anything else, and see where that takes you.
And that's what I've been practicing and doing that, trying not to. Sometimes I kind of put everything in the basket all at one time. I remember one time I was watching Oprah Winfrey. She was talking about different habit skills on breaking habits or fixing things or whatever the case may be. And she said a lot of times you'll go into this one room, and you go in this room and it's so cluttered. And what you'll do is you'll walk in the room, and every day you'll walk into the room and you'll be looking and you say, man, I gotta get this room clean. But there's so much garbage in there, you'll be like, I gotta get this clean.
It's overwhelming. It's too much. Can't do it.
And then and what you do is you got your mind assumed.
It's a mental block.
It's a mental block.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
Then she said, well, what you so what happens? You come in there and you take another pair of shoes and you set it. And then she was like, now you do this. And after
a week or two, you're gonna all of a sudden gonna be like, "Hey, it's starting to look better in here," and then you're gonna put more energy in because it's working.
And then you creating that new habit.
That's right.
Versus where you was throwing it in there, you're now placing.
That's right.
I know my wife over there saying, "Well, then practice what you preach, right?" She tired of cleaning up and picking up my clothes and picking up stuff. When I.
Being messy.
I be doing stuff around. But yes, for everybody that's joining in, this is People to People with Rodney Grimes. My guest today is Mo Hafez, and this is a wellness coach, and he's a gentleman that I am just really intrigued with. Something. Sometimes they see the progress of me being an example.
Yeah.
You know, have an opportunity to have a guest like you and talk to you and to learn from you and do these things. So I say that for many people out there. When you watch the program, listen to the skills and some of the techniques that Mo has shared with us. Make it so that you can change your life, because it's up to you as an individual.
Yeah.
You can't expect nobody to come in and sweep up your dirt if you put it down there. You know, you got to clean it up. I thought about that as I was looking around, and I was thinking about, and I hope I'm not going off the subject here, but you can. I want you to take this, because there's somebody out there that need to hear what I'm going to say. Many times, as many people find excuses by blaming others.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do.
Yeah. And instead of blaming other people, they focus on the things they could have done better.
Yeah.
So what's in your control, Rodney? Are other people in your control? No.
No.
You can't change other people. So you can keep blaming other people all day. They're not going to change, right?
Right.
And whether they have good intentions, bad intentions, it doesn't matter. That's not something you have control over. So the more you blame other people, the more you're simply saying, I can't control these people, and I'm going to sit here and be upset about it.
Right.
Or you can think, well, what could I have done, right? What can I change?
Right.
You then take agency of your own life, and instead of looking at whatever goal you couldn't achieve as being the fault of somebody else, you think, well, how could I have done that differently next time so I could have achieved that result? And that, sure, life's not always going to go your way. Life hasn't gone my way sometimes, and we, you know, all of us, we just deal with it. But if we want to deal with it in a way that gets us out of there, gets us to move to a better place, we got to start looking at what can we change? What can we change?
What can we change as individuals?
As individuals, right?
Yes.
What can you do instead of lamenting the
Exactly.
situation?
Exactly.
Think about, well, what is in your power,
Right.
right?
Yes.
And the successful people in this world, the ones that take themselves from A to B, right, from here to a higher place, a better place for themselves, are the ones that didn't wait for somebody to do something for them. They went out and did it themselves. They weren't afraid to ask for help when they needed it, but ultimately they took charge of their own life. And you hear it all the time. And I love inspirational stories. We can talk about them all day. That she would essentially have people at this show, at the studio audience, trying to generate buzz. She didn't think, well, okay, I have my show, how come people aren't here? She's like, well, what can I do? Well, I can go out and start getting people, right? And nothing's beneath you, right? You do whatever you need to do to get it done.
Right.
And, you know, so, and for every story like that, everybody knows Oprah Winfrey, but there's so many other ones where these folks that achieved success, they weren't afraid to go out and grab what they could grab and what they could do.
Yes.
They didn't just sit back and go, this my promoter didn't do their job.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That makes me think about one time that I was doing a production, I was doing a show, and didn't have any money, okay, but I had a good relationship with the place. So what I did is I went in and I told doing the show, and you don't have no money. No, I didn't think about not having no money. What I thought about was the end product. I thought about what I wanted to do, and I said, let's do. I start doing something. So one, I started by going in there and making a commitment to do it. Then I went and designed the flyer, started getting on the phone, calling some of the people and say, yo, this is what I'm doing. And it was like, yeah, okay. And let me tell you something, on several of them that I started out without a dime, we sold it out, and it was a successful show, and nobody really knew.
Yeah.
So my point to saying that is that a lot of us out here who are struggling with different problems and different situations, you got to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
You got to put that effort in there, and you got to get where you are willing to make the sacrifice and not point your finger at the next person and say, well, I didn't make this happen, or it didn't happen because of them. Because it's up to you to put that work in.
But I don't get too many opportunities, or in my day-to-day before founding Green Fez, I didn't really have too many opportunities to directly help individuals. And my wife and I are the kind of people that really, we really do get joy out of seeing somebody that is in a better place because of something we did, whether it's something as simple as helping them move furniture or something like that, something where we're like, yeah, we helped, so it's selfish. It's a little selfish, but we do it for that good feels, right? I feel good when I know I help somebody. And Rodney, when I tell you with this endeavor, it's not that just that I'm helping somebody, fix a faucet or something, like, I don't know, right? Something where it's just like, oh, that's wonderful, it works now, great. Millennials especially, we live in some pretty tough times, to be honest, because all we see are all these successful people, these wealthy billionaires doing X, Y, and Z, and most of us are just stuck in a rat race, or even worse, not even in a rat race. Some of us are stuck in poverty that is in kind of a vicious circle, and it's unfortunate. There's not a lot of social wellness programs and things like that. So it's unfortunate because a lot of people are just stuck in place. But when I discovered that there was a way to go about changing your mentality so that you can pull yourself out of that place and get to a better place and empower yourself and then see what you're capable of, the thought of being able to help things every one of us has got in us, hidden deep inside, something that we can contribute to the world, that we are uniquely equipped to contribute to that world, and it's beautiful, but we don't always have the means to get it out. And I think that you get your mind right and you start building good habits and all of this, and you start generating your own good ideas, all of a sudden you can give back, and that gives me so much joy, and that's why I do it, because it feels good.
Well, I do know that it's a lot of people that are struggling, because I talk to quite a few of them, and I talk to them and I tell them, believe in yourself, and you got to start within yourself.
Yeah.
And you got to make a difference when you see something that you love to do. I don't care if it's making pancakes. Deal with people that's not contributing to good things around me. He don't do that. I pay attention to successful people. I pay attention to good people, good-spirited people, because that's what I want to be.
Yeah.
That's what I am.
Yeah.
I'm a good-spirited person. I'm a successful person. I say that because I claim victory within myself and everything that I do. And I don't want people to look at us and look at me and say, well, you know what? He's not practicing what he preached. No, I am. Every day. And I don't care how hard it is. I just be consistent and go about it every day and keep doing the same thing. And that's what I want people out there to know. Don't give up. Trust and believe. If you keep going at it, sometimes you look at the glass and the glass look like it's half full, or it could be half empty.
Oh.
But it's up to you to decide. We're going to be where we wake up in the morning and feel good about having another day to make a choice, to make a change.
Yep.
Every day that we wake up is another opportunity for us to be a better individual.
Absolutely. And like you, Rodney, I want to be able to help people. So anybody who's listening now, great. If you watch this later and all of a sudden you come up with questions, you can find Green Fez on Facebook. I do half an hour, essentially free consultations. I want to connect with more people, and not even for business, but I want to be able to see if I can help more people. So if you're watching this and you go, hey, wait a minute, I want to do something, they could talk to you, Rodney, or they can check out Green Fez on Facebook and on the website, which is launching pretty soon. And I'd be happy to help people change their life.
Well, that's what I want you to know, that move in the right direction. And I say this door is open. I many times tell people, it's not just about me. It's not just about you. It's about us.
Yeah.
As a people, and we got to be able to come together and do that. And so, having you and you doing what you do, and you do this for yourself first.
It worked. I wouldn't, how they always say you wouldn't recommend something that you didn't use yourself, and
right.
It's like, well, I'm not going to say, hey, you should get this, but this is something that made a massive difference in my life. Really, I can't even begin to explain. It's not even about the look or what I'm doing, but the way I feel about myself and the direction that my life is taking is completely different from what it was 6-7 months ago. And when you get there, it's like,
I was like, man, I was all caught up in it and everything. Now that I've come to the realization that I'm responsible for what I allow people to do to me.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for what I allow them to place on my plate. It's almost like somebody say, "Come over for dinner," right? And they'll tell you everything they have on the menu. Okay, you don't have to eat everything.
No, you don't. But when you go and you eat, you made a choice.
Exactly.
You made that choice, right? And you get any kind of negative stimuli, whether it's a text or a call from somebody, you can choose to engage, and that's a choice that you make. And by choosing to engage and give that energy, you are now responsible for what happens. Or you can say, you know what, I don't want to engage on this, right? Or if I'm going to engage on it, I'm going to engage on it in my own way, in a positive way. I'm going to turn it around. You're ultimately the person deciding what kind of energy you're bringing into your life by putting out, by what kind of energy you're putting out, and what are you trying, what are you trying to do? It's going to change who you are for what you want. So that's how you really achieve change.
That's what even with me and my wife that I found out. If I'm the one that carry a lot of the weight, and when I say carry the weight, I carry a lot of the negative weight. My wife is really good at it. She'll prey on it and let it go.
But you need both. You need somebody to carry the weight. You need somebody who's gonna be that light that tells you, hey, it's all okay, it's good.
And so sometimes that's what we have to do with each other.
Yeah.
But the reason why I said that, I was speaking I just thought about many days when I was like, babe, man, it just looked like I'm beating a dead horse, and then she would say something positive. But what happens is she'll say something positive that will take me to a positive place.
Yeah.
That then I can come back and take her to a positive
when
place
she needs it.
When she needs it.
Correct.
So then what we're doing is now we're changing the environment. We're changing our way we're doing things, how we're communicating.
We're uplifting each other.
Uplifting and making a difference.
Yeah.
This is going on, and I can't do this, and I can't do that, and this is not working for me. And then you'll look over there, and here's a man in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Don't have no legs, right?
Yeah. The way I heard that same analogy or that same sort of idiom is they say if everybody threw their problems in a pile, and then they went and grabbed somebody and grabbed somebody else's, they'd look at it and put that and go like, nope, I'm taking mine back.
Yes, there you go. You grab somebody else and say,
you go, ooh, you know what? No, I know mine. I can do that one.
My problem ain't as bad as it seems.
That's right.
And that's what it's life itself.
Yeah.
And we just have to be consistent. But I like, again, what you're doing and what you're offering to the people, and that is the opportunity to change the negative to a positive. My grandmother said that. Rodney, you can always take a negative and turn it. People and the listeners, everybody that just joined in, I want you to know that this is opportunity. Please listen to the information that Mr. Hafez has shared with us. This is some things that could change your life. This is what we want to do. We are people that needs to help people. We want to change where we're going. That's the purpose of the People to People program. I tell you, it's a lot of people out there that are struggling with different things. I want to keep bringing on individuals like yourself that hey, if you can't afford a psychiatrist, you can't afford to go see the doctor or talk to somebody, you can listen to the program. And also, you said that if they wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
So I have right now on Facebook, my business is on Facebook, so you'll be able to go and book an appointment there. And it's, the first consultative appointment is free, and it's just a half 3 times a week, depending on what you need. But ultimately, it's them getting all of this information directed at them specifically for their life and for what they're struggling with and for whatever habits they're trying to change. And it's about helping them be accountable for those. Because in 3 weeks to a month, that's what I always say, 21 days is what it takes to make a habit. So 3 weeks to a month, ideally that last week is just to really seal the deal. It's when you've built these good habits, you're not going to need me anymore. You'll be able to, be off on your own, take those good habits, and achieve great things, change your life for the better, expand your horizons, basically, of what you're capable of in your life. And that also itself is rewarding to see that. So find me on Facebook, on the website, the books on your own. I want to help you do that, just to put that good out in the world, that karma, that if I help other people help other people, and that kind of, that balance will come back around to me somehow. I don't know, but I'm just putting it out there.
I believe that's the way it is. I believe that's how it works. I'm going to again let people know that I now consider you a part of people to people.
Thank you.
When we're going to work on some promotional flyers and promotional information for you as well, that with your permission that we can constantly show even when we do other programs. I want people to know that we have a gentleman like you that's available, and some people out there don't have nobody to turn to. They don't know what to do, but they knowing that it's a wellness coach out there.
Hey, good evening, brother. Good evening, brother. Hey, Rock, this is Malik from Baltimore.
My man, how you doing, Malik? What's happening?
Oh, man, I'm sitting here and taking in all the nuggets and the great information, man. You know, I'm into all that wellness coaching thing, so, you know, I'm really enjoying the conversation and all these good information and nuggets that y'all sharing with us, man. I really appreciate it. I really do.
My man, this gentleman, Mr. Hafez, he's a wellness coach that I had the opportunity to be in his presence on several different occasions, man. And you know, the energy and the information he's been sharing with me has been really, really valuable for me. And so, you know, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro, and I've been sitting there listening, and one thing he said, man, that really resonated with me was the part that he talked about helping people, how to make them feel when you're helping.
That you are one of my brothers from another mother, and you are part of the process of what I do on a daily basis. So, you know, when to have you call in is an honor, and to have you to also to let people know, yo, that what we talking about right now is important.
Yeah.
It's important.
Very important.
So yeah, my brother, hey, peace and blessings to you, man. I'm so glad that you called in.
Hey, absolutely, man. Keep up a good work, man. I'm telling you, man. I really enjoyed this conversation, man, and I'm loving what you're doing, and you're doing your thing, man. I appreciate you.
And I appreciate you too, my brother. Peace and blessings.
All right, absolutely. Have a good evening.
Okay. So that's again, that's an amazing thing for us when in my mission that people to people is we all wake up, we have a choice and a voice.
Yeah.
We have a choice and a voice.
Yeah.
You have the choice when you wake up in the morning, you have an opportunity to make a change in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you speak up, believe me, somebody will hear you. May not be heard exactly when you want.
Yeah.
You know, Malik, the gentleman that just called in, I'm gonna, you know, I could call him a wellness coach in a way, because
He tries to help other people, I heard.
all the time.
Yeah.
He that's what he does.
It made me happy to hear that. It really did. I love talking to people who love to help other people, which is one of the reasons why you and I got along so well very, very quickly. But, you know, hearing that is inspiring. And technology, right, where they always tell you if you're on an airplane and, God forbid, the plane's going down and the mask. So they always say put your mask, if you have a child, right, put your mask on first before you put the mask on your child. Because if you try to help your child before you put the mask on first, you might actually end up passing out. You're not going to be equipped to help your child if that happens. And so that analogy, I use it all the time. You can't be a help to your loved ones, to whoever, to your, if you're the boss of a company or whatever, to your employees, if you don't take care of yourself first. If you don't take care of yourself first, your capacity or capability to take care of other people will be diminished. It'll be less, possibly even non-existent. If you take care of yourself, you expand your capabilities, you take care of your mind.
The analysis when you say that, when you're talking like you say, if you're on an airplane and the plane is getting ready to crash or whatever the case may be, you don't really have the final say on what the end results is going to be. It could be based on your actions, what you do at that moment that dictates the end. Meaning, like you said, when they say, you know, you put the mask on yourself first and now you're able to breathe and you're able to think clearly.
That's right.
Now you can look at the people around you and say, yo, okay, I'll put the mask on you and you.
Yeah,
and
somebody,
okay.
this person needs help or whatever.
Right.
But if you don't help yourself first, then you're just another person who is going to be struggling, right? And that's the problem. Is I think many of us don't look to helping ourselves first, and we look around and we go frantically. We have our hearts in the right place. We're trying to help other people, but because we're not helping ourselves first, we all drown together. And a really bad situation that'll get you to drown also. The key is to take care of yourself. Think about your surroundings, where you're at. Look around. Go, okay, I'm safe. This person's not. I want to help him, but let me first get my bearings straight. Let me figure out where I am. Let me make sure that I am equipped, right? Do I have something on me that's going to prevent me from saving this individual? Take care of yourself. First, think about that. Then, when you do all that, then you are incredibly well equipped to go in and help somebody else. But you try to help somebody else before you've helped yourself, and maybe you won't be able to help that person, and you might even hurt yourself in the process. So, that's another analogy that I say: take care of yourself before you take care of other people.
And that's what we have to do, each one of us out there. I'm telling you, you have to learn how to start taking care of yourself. Start working on your, we talk about the pandemic and all these things. Let me tell you something. We got Mo Hafez on here talking about, he's a wellness coach, okay? A coach is almost like on a football team. He ain't saying you're going to win all the time. He ain't, but it's how you play the game.
How you play the game. It's how you go about your day-to-day.
Yeah.
To get you to achieve, if like a coach, exactly, to get you to win the game. Right? You're going to, day-to-day, you're going to have some setbacks. That's okay. That's fine. But consistency, right? Goal setting, right? And there's three aspects that are key to changing your life, right? It's concise, positive words. Come up with a concise set of positive words that are going to help you propel you in a certain direction. Have a clear visualization. Visualize where you're trying to be, what you're trying to do. And then lastly, they had very clear, simple, not simple, but clear visions that were, I could just tell you that I'm trying to be the blah, 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 right? I'm trying to be the best quarterback, on this team. Whatever those goals are, that's clear. And then lastly, add that feeling. That's the energy part. Add the feeling to that goal and to that positive energy. You do that on a daily basis, you're going to succeed. And a wellness coach is simply just going to be there to make sure that you do it every day,
right,
and to encourage you when you fail. So or when I don't even like using the word fail because people have this bad stigma with failure. When we all were kids, we fell a lot before we learned how to walk.
Right.
Well, anything you try to do in your life, you're going to fall a couple of times.
When you were saying that, I thought about something. I remember one time, not long ago, one of my granddaughters, I was trying to teach her how to ride a bicycle. Okay, now life is like this. You get on a bicycle, you already know many people know how to ride.
That's right.
But I was wondering, my granddaughter just couldn't get it. She couldn't get it, right? And so when I was trying to show her how to ride the bicycle, but what I realized, it wasn't me.
Mm-mm.
It was her.
Yeah.
See, she didn't have that confidence that she could hold that bicycle
Mm-hmm.
up. Which she had in her mind that I'm going to fall. So every time that I let her go, that's what she did, was fall.
Yeah.
She wasn't focusing on the riding.
She was focusing on the fall.
Falling.
That's right.
And so I didn't get mad at her.
No,
I just was trying to figure out how to get her to see the difference. Don't look
That's
to
right.
the ground.
That's right.
Look forward.
You want to hear another good analogy that's
Go
like
ahead,
that
go
one?
ahead, go ahead.
Skiing. A lot of people, and Simon Sinek's the one who talks about this. I love this analogy. He talks about people who ski. But if you're so scared that when you're skiing, all you're worried about are the trees you're going to hit, well, guess what your focus is on? The trees.
Oh, man.
So,
I love it. Did you just help me? You just helped me so much. I when you said that, I put my mind into an area where I was on that mountain. And I'm skiing for success with people to people.
Yeah.
And guess what I've been always doing? I'm looking for the people. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for them. I'm looking for everybody. But am I really looking for the ultimate platform where I'm going?
yeah.
And that's what this was all about. Many people know they saw me started out. I was doing this. I was doing it in my living room, in my sitting room. and I moved around, and let me tell you something, I'm paying attention to the path. I don't know what it takes. I know what I have to do when I get up in the morning. I get up in the morning and I just say it's another opportunity for me to be a better person. It's another opportunity for me to get up and go out and help somebody. And I'm thinking in that aspect and to keep doing that. And I believe that. We down in the last 5 minutes. Mo, you're going to have that time. I want you to talk about any and everything you want to talk about. I appreciate you coming out. Everybody that came in and joined in. My guest today is a wellness coach. His name is Mo Hafez. He has a Facebook page that you can go to get some information, to get in touch with him. He's working on his website. He's working on some other things. And I'm telling you, until he tells me that I no longer can call him anymore, I'm going to be working on it with him to help as he's helping me so we can help others to grow too. So talk to him.
Yeah, sure. I love being. And yes, that you can reach out to me over my Facebook page, which is Green Fez, F-E-Z, so color green. And then Fez is a hat, by the way, in case anybody was wondering, but it's a hat. It's a type of hat. But yeah, you can go to Green Fez and then greenfez.com. We'll be launching soon. As far as the last couple of minutes, I just thought of another little nugget that I thought about the other day, and I really love it. And it's the going back to focus. I know we talked a little bit about focus, but I want to demonstrate to people how they probably are not as focused as they can be. So think about your mental energy, right? Think about your mental energy like it's a flashlight, right? If you shine that flashlight over a single point, and with a laser you can put a dot on the moon, right? With a laser you can put a dot on the moon. That is an analogy exactly for our focus. Nowadays, in our day-to-day life, Rodney, we have so many things that pull our focus. And some of them are important, right? Whether it's our loved ones, our kids and our significant others, our jobs, our own health, right? Whatever things we're dealing with in our day-to-day life are going to take our focus and diffuse it just a little bit. But add on top of it all of these apps and things that in life, like news and Facebook and Instagram and stuff. And here I am still talking about Facebook. My page is 10, 20, 30 different directions with 10 different apps and scrolling and all of that stuff. Is try to take time to yourself to do nothing but focus. And that doesn't have to be just sitting outside and watching a tree. When I'm sitting here with you, Rodney, I'm focusing on you. My entire energy and my thoughts is focused on you. When I stop talking and you start talking and saying stuff, I'm listening. I'm focusing. Practice that focus at every opportunity in your life. Focus on your significant other. Whenever you're talking with your wife, with your brother, with your friend, don't be distracted. Don't look at your phone. Don't focus on them. When you're working, right? Instead of whatever task you're trying to do the best you can to just do that task solely without stepping away every 5 minutes and breaking your focus. Yeah, my pleasure.
And we got a lot of work to do, and we're going to be doing it together. And for everybody that joined in, please, y'all support Mr. Mo Hafez, because he is giving you some good information. We want to be following up on. I'm telling you, go to his page, find out how to get in touch with him if you're trying to make some changes in your life. Hey, sometimes God will drop a seed out there for you, and you have to put the water on it. And that's what you can do with your life to make changes. It's people, power to power, positive think people. I love you. Y'all have a blessed evening. Oh man, I appreciate that. That was good.
That was great. I'm glad we got to dive deep into some of this stuff. It's good. I really